Tonight, hurricane watch. The Category 1 storm Helene hitting Cancun as it moves into the Gulf. Hurricane hunters flying into the eye. The storm possibly making landfall in the U.S. as a Cat 3 with winds up to 125 miles per hour. Florida now preparing for the storm. We'll have all the details. Plus, the FBI tracking threats against both candidates in the race for president. The campaign office for Vice President Kamala Harris now hit by gunfire twice in Arizona. Federal authorities warning Iran is still targeting the Trump campaign. And the major escalation in the Middle East as tensions between Israel and Hezbollah heat up. A rare look at how one area of Israel is relocating its entire hospital and trauma center underground as it prepares for potential all-out war. And good evening, everyone. I'm Trevor Alt in for Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We're following all those stories and much more, including Ukraine's President Zelensky addressing the UN with harsh words for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, saying Trump has no plan on how to end the war with Russia. Plus, the alarming scene on the streets of Los Angeles, police chasing a hijacked city bus for an hour, the driver with a gun to his head, a passenger killed, a sign on that bus flashing a call for help. And from Dak Prescott to Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Russell Wilson, the millions that top NFL players are raking in both on and off the field. We take a look by the numbers, but we begin tonight with Florida bracing for what could be a major Category 4 hurricane. Hurricane Helene likely to make landfall with winds up to 130 miles an hour. And this storm is so massive tonight, there are states of emergency in Florida, Georgia, and now North Carolina, with almost every part of Florida under active alert. Now, at this hour, Helene is 465 miles south of Tampa. It's picking up both strength and speed in the Gulf. Coastal areas could see a 20-foot storm surge and torrential rain up to 18 inches. It could stretch all the way to the Carolinas. Hurricane hunters from the National Weather Service flying into the eye of the hurricane. Its center there now clearly formed. And on the ground, Helene struck Cancun, Mexico, with tropical storm force winds and flooding rain. Mandatory evacuations are in place for 20 counties in Florida. Take a look at this heavy traffic on Interstate 4 heading out of Tampa. All those people trying to get to safety. Our Ginger Z with the timing and the track in just a moment. But first, ABC's Whit Johnson leads us off in Tampa tonight.
Tonight, after hammering Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula as a tropical storm, flooding streets and taking down trees in Cancun, Helene is now a hurricane, gaining strength on a collision course with Florida. Interstate 4 packed with vehicles. Tallahassee, Florida's capital city of more than 200,000 people, directly in the path. Chris Osmar among many leaving today.
I got a bad feeling about this one. Like, we've never taken that direct hit.
If our community remains central in Helene's path as forecasted, we will see unprecedented damage like nothing we have ever experienced before as a community.
Put it back.
Our Victor Oquendo, south of Tallahassee, found John Turner packing up his waterfront restaurant, taking everything from the food to the furniture.
Being on the water, this is a different ball game, obviously, because you don't know with the storm surge what you're going to come back to, what you're going to lose.
And with the potential 15 feet of storm surge, your restaurant...
Yeah, we may have one when we come back, we may not.
Down the coast, ambulances transferring patients out of low-lying Pasadena Hospital in St. Petersburg. And extreme measures at Tampa General Hospital, too.
This is what's called an aqua fence, a portable barrier that officials hope will help divert floodwater away from the hospital and keep the patients safe.
Helene expected to knock out power across the state. Officials say 18,000 linemen are already staged in high-risk areas, and more are on the way.
And so let's bring in Whit Johnson joining us there from Tampa as they brace for this storm heading in. So what exactly are officials expecting where you are?
Well, Trevor, here in Tampa, you can see just how vulnerable some of these communities are, literally right on the water. They're expecting up to 8 feet of storm surge in this area, up to 20 feet in the Big Bend area. And officials say the time to finalize those evacuation plans and get out is right now. Trevor.
This could just be disastrous. All right, Whit Johnson, thank you and stay safe. And our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, is also in Florida tonight. Ginger, this looks like an extremely powerful hurricane, so time this all out for us.
You know, Trevor, I really want to emphasize, because we got a note from NOAA today, from the National Weather Service, that we don't usually see. They said that they want us to all know that this is a storm well inland. So not just Florida, but Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even eastern Tennessee. I've been emphasizing that as well, but I'm going to show you all the pictures to kind of back this up and tell you why. Let's focus on where the storm is now. It's just about 440 miles to my southwest. It's jetting north at 12 miles per hour, but it is eventually going to rocket. It's going to actually ride this upper level low and do what we call a Fujiwara effect. It's basically two cyclones that are going around each other and kind of using each other almost like a gear. When that happens, it will rocket up into the panhandle, the eastern panhandle, and Appalachia Bay as a Cat 4. Landfall tomorrow night, 130 mile per hour max sustained winds. It's moving so quick at that time, it's still a Category 1 in central Georgia as of 2 a.m. on Friday morning. So Atlanta, prepare yourself for at least tropical storm force, if not hurricane force winds. We're really worried about power outages and trees into homes and cars. So very, very bad Thursday night through early Friday. Hurricane warnings go up to Macon, Georgia, all the way down to Apalachicola, around the bend there to Cedar Key and Crystal River. Tampa Bay is still in a hurricane watch, but you've got hurricane warnings from Fort Myers and Miami right up to Charleston and even Asheville, North Carolina. So very far-reaching impacts. Let's talk about the #1 loss of life and property. That's the 10 to 20 feet of storm surge possible. So St. Mark's over to Steinhatchee, right around the bend there. Places like Crystal River could get that 10 to 20 feet. That's like 2 stories of water that gets pushed ahead the bubble of the hurricane and comes right on land. 4 to 8 feet still around Tampa Bay. That would be bad. It would, inundation could be up to 5, 6 feet around there. Also wanted to point out the winds. When we were talking about the power outages going up, look at Albany at 74 mile per hour wind gusts. That's taking down trees everywhere. And they've been super saturated in this area. And so when you add what's happened today and tomorrow with this kind of stalled out front to Helene, that's where we're really worried about landslides, road closures in Asheville or Greenville, South Carolina, northeastern Georgia, extreme flood risk for 12 to even 18 inches of rain, Trevor.
About as alarming as it gets. All right, Ginger, thank you, and you and your team stay safe. On Capitol Hill today, Congress passed a temporary bill to avoid a government shutdown, but it will punt final spending decisions until after the election. So they're generally funding agencies until December 20th and an additional $231 million to bolster the Secret Service after 2 assassination attempts against former President Donald Trump. That bill now heads to President Biden's desks. Next to the explosion rocking a courthouse in Santa Maria, California. Authorities say the suspect lunged through the doors of the courthouse, throwing a bag with a homemade bomb past the security detector. Multiple people were injured, some of them sent to the hospital. ABC's Melissa Adon reports from California.
The blast rocking this courthouse in Santa Maria, California, just before 9 a.m. Fire trucks racing to the scene.
This was a small fire. There's no spread into the structure.
Courthouse officials tell ABC News a man lunged into the courthouse doors, then tossed a small bag past the weapons screening station. An IED inside exploding, sending 6 people to the hospital. Shane Mellon was in one of the courtrooms.
We were sitting in the courtroom and I heard an extremely loud bang, and the bailiff inside of the courtroom went and tried to see what was going on.
That bailiff sending the judge into his chambers and evacuating others from the building.
There was some sweater or something sitting there smoldering and almost on fire, and someone screaming, and 4 or 5 individuals trying to restrain that guy and just screaming at the top of his lungs. Yeah, it was scary.
Officials say the suspect tried to run to his car, but was chased by a guard and taken into custody. Police reportedly finding weapons and ammo in his car. Today, law enforcement seen swarming his neighborhood.
And Melissa Adon joins us now. Melissa, I know a lot of people are familiar with this courthouse. A really scary situation there.
Absolutely, Trevor. It definitely was, as police had the area closed off as they searched for any possible explosives. And Trevor, people may recognize this courthouse as the one where Michael Jackson faced trial years ago. Trevor.
All right, Melissa Adon, thank you. And more frightening news out of California. Police are investigating a deadly bus hijacking in Los Angeles. A suspect held the driver and 2 passengers at gunpoint, and it resulted in a police pursuit. ABC's Matt Gutman is in L.A.
Tonight, this dramatic video showing that hijacked Metro bus, this slow-speed chase through the heart of Los Angeles, dozens of police cruisers in pursuit. The driver and several passengers held at gunpoint, the front of the bus seen flashing the message, "Emergency, 911, call police."
There's a man with a gun inside, possible hostage.
Just before 1 a.m. this morning, authorities alerted to the hijacking, but as they tried to engage, the bus rolled away and that pursuit began.
We have units in pursuit.
Officers seen throwing spike strips to puncture the bus's tires. Finally, the bus brought to a halt, SWAT teams swarming. A stun grenade deployed, the bus driver then rescued through the window.
The bus driver is unharmed. The second passenger that was found on the bus who had self-barricaded in the back of the bus, they were shaken but unharmed.
Officers finding one of the passengers on the bus suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He later died from his injuries.
So let's bring in Matt Gutman now from Los Angeles. So Matt, how are city officials responding to this?
You know, a short time ago, Trevor, LA's Mayor Karen Bass acknowledged that there is a systemic problem with violence aboard Metro Transit here in Los Angeles, but she vowed that more safety measures are on the way. Meantime, that suspect was taken in without incident. He's booked on suspicion of murder, and the LAPD say they are still investigating the motive behind this alleged hijacking. Trevor.
All right, Matt Gutman for us. Matt, thank you. Next tonight, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, his show InfoWars will be auctioned off as part of a plan to sell Jones's media company to settle his debts. Families of the victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting, in which 26 were killed, were awarded $1.5 billion in damages after Jones falsely insisted that school shooting never happened and that the parents were crisis actors. A bankruptcy judge ruled InfoWars' assets, social media accounts, trademarks, and studio equipment will all be up for grabs. Jones has vowed he will continue his media career. Well, overseas now, the major escalation in the Middle East as Israeli military is now signaling a possible ground offensive into southern Lebanon. This comes after Hezbollah fired a ballistic missile on Tel Aviv. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Beirut tonight.
Tonight, Israel's air assault on Lebanon not letting up. And now the country's military chief telling troops to prepare for a possible ground incursion. A senior U.S. official telling ABC News Hezbollah launching this surface-to-surface missile toward Tel Aviv, only making Israel more determined to send in ground forces. Israel's David Sling air defense system intercepting the threat. The first time Hezbollah has fired a weapon this big, so deep into Israel. Today, Israel calling up as many as 6,000 more troops to the northern border with Lebanon. Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi telling troops military boots will enter enemy territory. Verified videos showing deadly Israeli airstrikes in the south of Lebanon again. Our Marcus Moore visiting a hospital here in Beirut, running out of beds, where they're now building a makeshift patient ward and bomb shelter.
We are beneath the parking garage here at the hospital. They are essentially preparing for the worst, but they hope they don't need this.
President Biden on The View today, hoping a diplomatic solution can prevent this conflict from now spiraling out of control.
An all-out war is possible, but I think there's also the opportunity, or still in play, to have a settlement that could fundamentally change the whole region.
Trevor, the US is currently in active discussions with Israel and others to try to secure a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. That's according to a senior US official. But an Israeli official telling us tonight the attempted strike on Tel Aviv today will not go unanswered, and that a ground invasion now seems to be inevitable, albeit not imminent. Trevor?
All right, Ian Pannell for us tonight. Ian, thank you. Meantime, frontline workers in Israel are taking every precaution that they can to prepare against what they predict could be that all-out war with Hezbollah. With some estimating if things escalate further, they may have rockets hitting every hour for days on end. Our Tom Soufi Burridge was in the region, embedding with frontline workers in a hospital who are trying to stay safe now by going underground.
Deep underground, on level -3 of this vast parking lot, car lanes now transformed into hospital corridors and parking spaces into subterranean medical wards. With Israel's war with Hezbollah escalating, most of Haifa's Rambam hospital has been relocated down below into its underground parking lot. Now 27 feet down, this, the largest trauma centre in northern Israel, is now shielded from conventional biological and chemical warfare.
Normally the vehicles would be parked in spaces like this. You can see patients in the background are being treated. We're below sea level. This floor alone is 4 acres. There's another level on -2, another 4 acres. They can treat around about 2,000 patients here. And for the first time ever, patients have been brought underground in the last few days.
Up on ground level, wards which normally operate in more peaceful times are now empty. Back underground and with a wider war looming, the medical director and his team are preparing for a worst-case scenario. A 60-day war, he says, in which missiles could be striking Israel every 4 minutes.
With a patient, you have to understand the capabilities of the Hezbollah, that, you know, only the simple missiles, they have more than 100,000. This is what they have done the last 20, 30 years, to gather more and more weapons.
Amid that threat, Israeli soldiers are constructing more beds to increase the hospital's capacity.
This is the command center of the hospital, and if the war escalates significantly further, then police officers, soldiers will be seated here, coordinating with hospital staff as civilians are brought into the hospital and soldiers off the battlefield.
For now, there are relatively few casualties here from the war. But with Israel promising a ground invasion into southern Lebanon, years of contingency planning by medical staff here could soon kick into gear.
All right, our Tom Sufi-Burge. Thanks, Tom. And meantime, back here at home today, Vice President Kamala Harris spent some time in must-win state Pennsylvania talking about the economy. Harris promised tax cuts for the middle class, help for first-time home buyers, and a major tax deduction for Americans starting small businesses. She also drilled down on her argument about manufacturing in this country and what she says really happened under Donald Trump. And the former president's response. Mary Bruce reports tonight from Pittsburgh tonight.
Tonight in must-win Pennsylvania, Vice President Kamala Harris drilling down on the issue that could determine this race, the economy, outlining her plan to create what she calls an opportunity economy, describing her approach as pragmatic and a new way forward for the middle class.
Look, I'm a capitalist. I believe in free and fair markets. And I believe companies need to play by the rules. Respect the rights of workers and unions, and abide by fair competition.
Harris well aware that voters favor Donald Trump on the economy, though polls show she's closing the gap. Today, pitting her vision directly against his, she argued the former president is looking out for his wealthy friends, not working Americans.
You see, for Donald Trump, our economy works best if it works for those who own the big skyscrapers, not those who actually build them, not those who wire them, not those who mop the floors.
Harris pledging to cut taxes for 100 million Americans, boost small businesses by increasing the startup deduction from $5,000 to $50,000, help first-time home buyers with down payment assistance, and invest in manufacturing, where she says the Trump administration fell far short.
All told, almost 200,000 manufacturing jobs were lost during his presidency, starting before the pandemic hit, making Trump one of the biggest losers ever on manufacturing.
Trump today saying the vice president had 4 years to help the middle class, and she didn't.
Kamala goes to work every day in the White House. Families are suffering now. So if she has a plan, she should stop grandstanding and do it. Just do it.
And Mary Bruce joins us now. Mary, we know the economy is just so important with voters. It really seems like both candidates are making it a focus of their campaigns right now.
They certainly are. The economy is the top priority for voters. Both campaigns well aware of that. They've been hammering the issue all week. And while Donald Trump has had the advantage on the issue, polls do show that Kamala Harris is gaining ground. Trevor.
Okay, Mary Bruce, thank you. Meantime, tonight, U.S. intelligence confirms they've briefed Donald Trump on assassination threats coming from Iran. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, top intelligence officials warning former President Trump that he's an ongoing target for assassination by Iran. Trump given that blunt assessment during a briefing on Tuesday. Tonight, responding.
If I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens.
That briefing follows the recent arrest of a Pakistani man with alleged ties to Iran, who the FBI says was plotting to hire a hitman to kill Trump. It comes as a blistering new bipartisan Senate report on the first attempt on Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania said there was credible intelligence of a threat against the former president. Senators calling the Secret Service failures preventable.
There has to be someone in charge. There was nobody in charge.
The report says Secret Service agents were notified of a suspicious person with a rangefinder 27 minutes before the first shots, a full 7 minutes earlier than first reported. And approximately 2 minutes before the shooting, the Secret Service Command Center was told there was an individual on the roof of a nearby building, but failed to communicate that threat to Trump's security detail. Trevor, the Secret Service says it's working hard to keep both former President Trump and Vice President Harris safe in the final weeks before the election. And a chilling new warning tonight after senators received a classified briefing on foreign election threats today. Senator Warner saying the days after the election, as votes are being counted, could be the most challenging time with foreign enemies trying to interfere, Trevor.
Very worrying. Pierre Thomas, thank you very much. Meantime, Ukrainian President Zelensky addressed world leaders here in New York today at the UN General Assembly, saying there is no alternative to complete expulsion of all Russian forces from Ukraine.
Since Russia can't defeat our people's resistance on the battlefield, Putin is looking for other ways to break the Ukrainian spirit. Now Putin does seem to be planning attacks on our nuclear power plants and their infrastructure, aiming to disconnect the plants from the power grid. With the help of satellites, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, satellites of other countries.
Well, earlier this week, Zelensky and the First Lady there sat down with our Robin Roberts discussing what Ukraine believes is a path toward victory. You can see more from that first joint interview since the start of the war tonight at 8:30 on ABC News Live and streaming tomorrow on Hulu. Well, back here at home, 24 hours after a toxic leak forced evacuations outside Cincinnati, hundreds of people are still unable to return home. Authorities say they've now stopped that toxic and flammable chemical leak from a train in Cleves, Ohio. But fire officials say there's still a potential risk of explosion, and for that reason, an evacuation order is still in place. Well, as part of a special investigation by the FAA into the inner workings of Boeing, the agency has revealed factory workers felt pressure to prioritize production speed over quality. The disclosure comes as part of a 6-week-long audit after a door plug blew off that 737 MAX plane during an Alaska Airlines flight earlier this year. It was later revealed that the plane had left the Boeing factory without the necessary 4 bolts needed to secure that door. Well, we still have much to get to here on Prime. The Kentucky sheriff accused of shooting and killing a judge inside the judge's chambers. Well, that person has entered a plea there. But first, we're taking a look at the latest poll numbers from 538 that shed light on who might control the Senate next.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife,
speaker at her church.
Everybody loved her. She got diagnosed with cancer.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
When Amanda told me she had cancer, I was so devastated.
A beloved young Christian woman fighting a battle undeserved.
We gave our hearts, our prayers. We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
Thousands of people threw money at her.
The community raised $100,000.
What surprised me is the lengths that she went to fake the cancer. There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing.
She was accused of faking cancer. She hurt tons of people.
It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God!
I was like, ha, you're lying and you're getting caught. This is over. But it wasn't, not even close.
Scamanda premieres October 9th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
She had this captivating smile and these beautiful eyes. And I prayed that they would find her alive.
Her car was found abandoned.
You find keys in this car that don't seem to belong to her.
That was just the beginning.
Oh, my God.
A local woman who says she sometimes has visions.
I could see blood.
I get goosebumps. This case touched you like no other had. Why?
Because I know how much black girls don't matter.
All new 2020 Friday night on ABC. ABC's David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. More Americans watch World News Tonight with David Muir than any other newscast.
What's good to watch, read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America.
I love that so much.
GMA Life. Streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
3, 2, 1.
It's a 24/7 life together.
It's not about the fear or the risk. It's about the love of flying. 3, 2, 1.
FX's Grotesquerie, tonight at 10 on FX. Streaming on Hulu.
ABC News Live, honored with 8 Emmy nominations, more than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis, the first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
True natural beauty, untouched. One of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. These are the last lands, the national parks around the world that have to be saved.
I think when Trump opens the pipeline and shuts the border, I think that'll be starting and that'll trickle down to the economy. I think giving tax deductions to corporations, like he did before he was president, brought the money into this country.
They've got to stop the name calling because that hurts them one way or another.
Well, those are voters that we just heard from attending Donald Trump's rally today in Mint Hill, North Carolina. Meantime, Trump's running mate J.D. Vance also out on the trail in a different battleground state, Michigan. And Vice President Kamala Harris, meantime, is in Pennsylvania after surprising some by being off the trail for about 4 days. But the presidency is not the only office on the ballot in November. And joining us now to discuss the latest poll numbers for control of the Senate is 538's Galen Druke. Galen, thanks so much for being here. Always good to see you. Where do we stand on the Senate race and potential power shifts there?
So it's important to keep in mind that a third of Senate seats are up every 2 years, and a term lasts 6 years. So this election in 2024 is an echo of the 2018 election. So senators who won then are defending their seats now. And if you'll remember, 2018 was a blue wave election that was a backlash to then unpopular incumbent President Trump. And so Democrats are defending territory that you might usually expect a Republican to win. For example, prime example, West Virginia, also Montana, also Ohio. And Republicans, if Trump wins, only have to flip 1 Senate seat in order to have a majority of the chamber, or at least control of the chamber. If there's a 50-50 tie, the vice president breaks it. If they flip 2, they will have an outright majority. And so at this moment, it looks like West Virginia is probably gone for Democrats. You know,
that's going to flip almost.
Joe
certainly.
Manchin, the popular Democratic incumbent there, is not running for re-election. He switched to being an independent, and now Jim Justice, the popular governor there, is running to replace him. And you'll be hard-pressed to find people in my industry who are going to make hard and fast predictions these days.
Right.
But I think if we're going to make any, it's that a Republican is going to win in one of the reddest states in the country for Senate.
Yes, that does seem safe. Montana and Ohio, though, both pretty red now.
Pretty red.
But not runaways in terms of Senate race there?
Pretty red and also very close. So according to the 538 averages that we've just released, in Montana, the Democratic incumbent Tester is trailing by about 2.5 points compared to Tim Sheehy, the Republican, who's challenging him. In Ohio, Sherrod Brown, the Democratic incumbent, is running about 3.5 points ahead of Bernie Moreno, the Republican, who is challenging him there.
Is it fair to say Republicans are in the driver's seat? Would you rather be on offense, or would you rather defend those seats?
Yeah, I think that looking at the map, you would rather be Republicans, right? Because they basically already have West Virginia. I mean, I don't want to absolutely guarantee it, but
yes.
And if they pick up one of those two seats, then they will have an outright majority. And look, over the past two presidential election cycles, 2016 and 2020, there's only one case in which a state voted for one party for president and a different party for Senate. That is Susan Collins in Maine in 2020. We've seen a decline in split ticket voting, which is to say voters who will vote for different parties up and down the ballot. Now, if Democrats are going to keep control of the Senate, it is going to rely on split ticket voting because, like we can somewhat guarantee with West Virginia, Trump is very, very likely to win Ohio and Montana when it comes to the presidency. So Democrats like Sherrod Brown in Ohio and Jon Tester in Montana will have to rely on voters who are going to vote for Trump for president, but are also willing to see enough daylight between the National Democratic Party and the Democratic senator in those states to also cast a ballot for a Democrat for Senate. And Jon Tester is a longtime farmer in Montana. He's trying to really rely on his record there, and sort of in every ad you see him, I'm a farmer. You know, Democrats haven't been doing well with rural voters. And so he in particular is going to have to say, I'm different from the National Party.
Right.
I can appeal to rural voters.
All right, 538's Galen Troop. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
And stepping in now for a bit more analysis on how both parties might handle this final 6-week stretch before the election is political consultant and co-founder of the Lincoln Project, Rick Wilson. Rick, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So Tuesday, we heard from top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell talking to reporters, and he said, I believe the quote was, he's happy that there's no Senate race in North Carolina. He was referencing some scandals involving Mark Robinson. But how concerned are you that Republicans, how concerned are Republicans that divisive candidates might hurt the party this time around?
Well, you know, you've seen once again that bad candidate selection really does have an impact. In Arizona, you've got Carrie Lake up for another term at bat, a Trump favorite. She's polling significantly behind her Democratic opponent. In the governor's race, as you pointed out in North Carolina, Mark Robinson, with a very checkered and colorful background that has been revealed recently, is now down about 15 points in most public polling. You know, you've got Dave McCormick in Pennsylvania, who, although very wealthy, is not really connecting with voters in the state. He's better than Doug Mastriano was the last go-around, but he's really not a guy who's setting the map on fire. And you have a variety of other Republican candidates in Ohio with Bernie Moreno, who's falling significantly behind Sherrod Brown, Mike Rogers in Michigan. And why are they all disconnected? I think from greater success. They've got a lot of money, but they just can't quite connect. They were all the choice of Donald Trump. There wasn't a competitive primary process in any of these states. And they end up with candidates of a lower tier of candidate quality and ability to go ahead and out there and connect with voters.
What do you make of how Trump and Harris have been attacking the campaign? Trump's been stumping a little bit more than Harris, but we've heard the Republicans' ground game doesn't match the Democrats. What do you think that they could both do to maximize their chances?
You know, this is not a campaign at the end of the day where there's a lot of new information to be had about Donald Trump. People know what and who he is. They are still learning about Vice President Harris. So far, as they've become more familiar with her, every week that's gone by since she got in the race, she's gained about 1.5% on her favorability ratings. She's doing very well in the head-to-head polls in the swing states against Trump. It's a close race, but she has gone from 0 to 90 miles an hour very quickly. So I think she's run a really terrific campaign. Trump's campaign, as you point out, does not have a ground game. They outsourced it to a couple of these outside groups, and those groups didn't do the job. One led by Elon Musk, one led by Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA. They are not out there putting in the door knocks, the voter contact.
What do you think would be the key for either candidate to reach those rare undecided voters?
I think Vice President Harris needs to continue to communicate what she's going to do for families in this country who have been hurting in the last not just year or two in the inflation window, but beyond that, who feel like that they have not had the ability to start their lives, where college debt and medical debt and other things that have held Americans back, in stagnant wages. That's something I think she can continue to address with voters. It's been very popular when she talks about a home buyer tax credit, an increased child care credit, a child birth credit. Those things have been very popular in the polling I've seen. For Trump, he's really working right now on an operation to turn up his base voter. He's not trying to reach undecided voters at this point. If he was, we wouldn't be talking about eating dogs and cats in Ohio. He's making a play just to motivate the Trump base, which, if I was in his position, that's probably the strategy I would pursue as well, because he doesn't have a lot of other traction right now, with moderate and independent leaning voters.
Lincoln Project co-founder Rick Wilson, thanks so much for your time.
Happy to be with you.
And if you are an undecided voter, it's not just the campaigns who want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, too. If you're still considering who you'll support this November, you can find out more about talking to us. Scan that QR code right there on the screen. ABC News may contact you to be part of our election coverage. And we still have much more to get to. Coming up, a major step forward for the Crisis Lifeline Network 988, the move by wireless carriers that could help save lives. And next, the NFL is the world's richest.
Hi, my name is Patrice. I am a totally cool person with a disability who could do most anything. Patrice always sees the best side of life.
Patrice is a big magnet for people.
If it can be done, she will do it. I really love Gary. He's everything. He just looked at her and I said, "Would you like to be my wife?"
If you get married and you're collecting a Social Security benefit, your benefit will be cut.
We have to have it. We'd never be able to pay for the bills. I don't take anything for granted. To us. To us.
You're a part-time lover and a full-time friend. The monkey on your back is the latest trend. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else.
People think people with disabilities have no value.
You need to tell your story, and people can listen and say, this is why benefits are extremely important.
I don't see what anyone can see.
I want to get married. I want to be able to live in the same house as my spouse.
Here is the church and
they can stop us from getting married. They can stop us from living together, but they're never going to stop us from loving each other. This law needs to change, and we're going to do what we have to do to make this happen. Patrice is good at making dreams come true. Who wants to get married? You're something else, you know that? Yeah.
FX's Grotesquerie, tonight at 10 on FX. Streaming on Hulu.
Sex, lies, and a double murder.
2 small children were kidnapped.
Your mom and dad are gonna be right here waiting on you when you get home.
When the twist came, then it completely exploded.
It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard, and people don't know about it.
What kind of mother would kill her own children?
After nearly 30 years in prison, Smith now has a chance at parole. Could the woman once dubbed the most hated mom in America go free?
Killer Mom, now streaming on Hulu.
What
do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, start here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food.
It's all coming up on GMA3.
You're going to love it. We'll see you then.
GMA3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love that.
Me too.
Reporting from Tel Aviv, I'm Martha Raddatz. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
We're in the swing of football season, and with the NFL hoping to set more records for attendance and TV viewership, it's already one of the most popular sports leagues in the world and the richest, as are some of its top players. So let's take a look at the biggest earners by the numbers. $1.1 billion is how much the top 20 NFL players will earn on and off the field this season. One of them, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. He's set to earn an estimated $100 million this year between his salary and his endorsements. Prescott signed a 4-year, $240 million contract extension at the beginning of the season. It made him the highest paid player in league history. In fact, the 10 highest paid players share one thing in common. All of them are quarterbacks. Of those 10, 5 have proven track records at the highest level, having won or played in a Super Bowl. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce is set to bring in an estimated $47 million in total earnings this year. That leads all non-quarterbacks. According to Sportico, Kelce's licensing income, however, jumped 177% over the past year. They say that could be in part tied to his high-profile relationship with Taylor Swift, along with a successful podcast with his brother. We still have much more ahead here on Prime. Some frightening moments for the dog of a rock star as she is snatched up in the jaws of a coyote. And taking horror to new heights, grotesquerie takes us to a small town plagued with a string of heinous crimes. Our sit-down with actor and executive producer Courtney B. Vance about Ryan Murphy's latest Nightmare series.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife,
speaker at her church.
Everybody loved her. She got diagnosed with cancer.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
When Amanda told me she had cancer, I was so devastated.
A beloved young Christian woman fighting a battle undeserved.
We gave our hearts, our prayers. We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
Thousands of people threw money at her.
The community raised $100,000.
What surprised me is the lengths that she went to fake the cancer. There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IV tubing.
She was accused of faking cancer. She hurt tons of people.
It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God! I was like, ha, you're lying and you're getting caught. This is over. But it wasn't, not even close.
Scamanda premieres October 9th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
3, 2, 1.
It's a 24/7 life together.
It's not about the fear or the risk. It's about the love of flying. 3, 2, 1.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
Hi, my name is Patrice. I am a totally cool person with a disability. Patrice always sees the best side of life. I just looked at her and I said, "Would you like to be my wife?"
If you get married and you're collecting a Social Security benefit, your benefit will be cut.
I don't take anything for granted.
I don't see what anyone can see in anyone.
They're never gonna stop us from loving each other.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Evil has always existed.
To understand this killer, you must reach the ecstatic.
FX's Grotesquerie, tonight at 10 on FX. Stream on Hulu.
A Kentucky sheriff accused of shooting and killing a judge in his chambers enters a plea, a major step forward to connect people in crisis to 988, and the terrifying images of a rock star's dog snatched up by a coyote. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins pleaded not guilty to the murder of a judge inside a Kentucky courthouse. The sheriff could face the death penalty if convicted, according to a special judge appointed to preside over the case. The shooting allegedly occurred following an argument inside the courthouse, according to Kentucky State Police, and investigators are still searching for a motive. Steins is expected back in court on October 1st. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced today that 2 major wireless carriers have begun voluntarily geo-routing calls to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Last week, Verizon and T-Mobile began routing cell phone calls to the lifeline based on the caller's physical location rather than their area code. The FCC will vote on a final rule at an open meeting on October 17th that would require geo-routing for all wireless 988 calls, regardless of the provider. Union workers at the world's largest Hilton hotel in Hawaii have gone on strike. About 2,000 workers are calling for higher wages and more manageable workloads at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort. More than 4,000 hotel workers are now on strike around the country, according to the Service Workers Union Unite Here, and they plan on striking until a new labor agreement is reached. A terrifying coyote attack was caught on camera at the San Fernando Valley home of rocker Tommy Lee and his wife, Brittany Furlan. Video posted by Furlan shows the couple's 2 dogs out by the backyard pool when a coyote runs up and snatches Nina, their 10-year-old long-haired English cream dachshund. The coyote tries to run off and leaps over the back wall, but Furlan chased it up the wall and was able to grab her dog out of the coyote's mouth. A CrowdStrike executive appearing before Congress apologized to the public for a global outage that affected millions over the summer. The executive noted that the outage was not caused by a cyber attack, but rather a bad update that affected their systems. The global tech outage in July grounded flights, took TV broadcasts off air, and disrupted banks, hospitals, and retailers. The company still faces a number of lawsuits from people and businesses that were caught up in the chaos. An 8-year-old boy was airlifted off a cruise ship by the Coast Guard due to a medical emergency. Officials say they got a call that a child had appendicitis and needed to be medically evacuated from the ship, which was about 20 miles off the coast of Northern California. Rescue personnel arrived on the scene and hovered above the ship while the boy and his family were hoisted into the helicopter. They dropped him off at a nearby hospital for treatment.
The children of Sean Diddy Combs are speaking out for the first time since their father's arrest. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more.
The children of Sean Diddy Combs are speaking out for the first time since their father's arrest last week. 4 of Combs' 7 children writing on Instagram, "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves." A 60-page unverified book published earlier this month claimed to be the collection of diaries of Porter, who died at the age of 47 in 2018. The children, who don't mention their father's arrest in the statement, go on to write, "Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories." The message coming as another accuser goes public with allegations against Combs. Talia Graves claims in a civil lawsuit Combs and his bodyguard drugged, bound, and raped her in 2001 and filmed it.
It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are, and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal.
The 54-year-old Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges he led a criminal conspiracy that abused women.
Aaron Katursky tonight. Aaron, thank you. Next, Bridgerton superfans in Detroit are asking for their money back after a party that they paid for was not what they expected. And ABC's Lara Spencer has the latest.
It was supposed to be the talk of the town.
At last, London's fashionable set has made its return.
They arrived in ball gowns and horse-drawn carriages, just like the characters in their favorite show, Bridgerton.
You look especially beautiful tonight, Miss Featherington.
But instead, superfans in Detroit are blowing the whistle down on this ball-turned-bust.
It was supposed to be a completely immersive experience and make it like we were stepping into the world of Bridgerton. And when we got there, we were completely devastated because it was anything but.
The event, billed as a Bridgerton ball with dinner, dancing, games, and a costume contest, the winner taking home $2,000. Amanda Sue Mathis and her mom, Cindy, shelling out over $100 per ticket. But instead of finding charm, they found chaos.
I noticed in the middle of the dance floor, there was a pole meant for an exotic dancer.
The circus performer hired for the event says she was contacted by organizer Uncle and Me LLC just 3 hours before the event. She says she offered them a variety of performance options and they chose pole dancing.
I just feel very bad for all the patrons who showed up to the event just because my goal as a performer is, to bring happiness.
Uncle and Me saying in a statement to our affiliate WXYZ, "We understand that not everyone had the experience they hoped for, and for that, we sincerely apologize," adding that they are, quote, "working diligently to address all concerns and reviewing compensation options to make things right." This latest event disaster being compared to the doomed Fire Festival and that disastrous Willy Wonka experience earlier this year. The disappointed ball patrons, forced to share water and listen to a lone violinist, feel duped and just want their money back.
We were very upset. A lot of money was spent putting these outfits together. We got nothing.
Well, next, FX's new 10-episode drama, Grotesquerie, has just about everything for fans of horror. When a small community is rocked by a series of heinous crimes that feel deeply personal to Detective Lois Tryon, played by actress Niecy Nash-Betts. And as she struggles to solve the case, she also deals with her own inner demons and her strained relationships with her family, her daughter, and her husband, who is played by actor Courtney B. Vance. Let's take a look.
I know being a cop has fundamentally altered your worldview, but this cynicism, your fatalism, is corrosive.
Or it's protection. Ding, ding, ding.
Is it drinking protection, too? Because you're turning from a pastime into a profession.
Chewing up the scenery. Courtney B. Vance is here. Courtney, thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here, Trevor.
So you're part of it. You're acting in it. You're also an executive producer on the show.
Yes.
What drew you to the role? What drew you to the project?
Both Ryan Murphy. I did a small project with him about 4 or 5 years ago. You may have heard of it, People versus O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran. So he called and said he had something else he wanted me to do. He wanted me to be in play Niecy Nash's husband in this Grotesquerie. I said, wow. I just spoke to her and we talked about doing something together. So he said it wasn't quite fleshed out yet, but I really want you to do it, Courtney. I said, okay. It's Faith Walk anyway, so I'm in. And I called the other showrunner that I was doing something else with, and I said, please, please, please. Ryan's called. He said, I understand.
And they made it work.
Thank you for calling. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your career has spanned decades, genres, Broadway, film, television. You've done some work with horror before. You were in Lovecraft Country.
That's true. Somebody asked me that today, and I said, no, I haven't done anything. I have. Yes, okay. Thank you,
Lovecraft Country. So you're not brand new to it,
right.
But do you approach it differently when it's horror as opposed to other roles, other films?
No. Same thing. talking and listening. As Clint Eastwood said, we're going to say some lines and hit some marks.
Well, you were saying you were talking with Nisi about trying to work together. So the two of you already knew each other?
Yes, we did Robert Altman's, this is back in we did Robert Altman's Cookie's Fortune.
Yes.
Folks will Google it, I'm sure. And then about 4 years ago, we did Uncorked, and we played husband and wife together with Prentice Penny was the director. So, you know, we're due. We were overdue.
Right.
So,
how's the chemistry feel on screen between you two?
Same. It's so beautiful. You know, I love her. She loves me, and we just roll with whatever.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of different themes in this. Religion is a prominent one.
Oh, yes.
Is that an area you wanted to explore, or just something you found compelling?
You know, our storyline is not that. Our storyline is not that. But there's so many themes. You know, our family unit, and I'm sure you know, as we go along, this is the first season. Hopefully, there'll be others. But you know, our storyline, our family unit, we're exploring. You know, she's got a drinking problem. I'm dealing with sexual addiction. Our daughter is dealing with eating disorder. So I think there's plenty in there to chew your teeth on. Yeah.
What is it about Ryan Murphy? I mean, like you, he's done all kinds of different genres. The People vs. O.J. Simpson, Glee, Nip Tuck, American Horror Story. What is it that makes his storytelling so interesting as an actor?
He has, you know, and that's why I think we all gravitate toward him, because we know that not only is the writing going to be top drawer, but every aspect of the project is the directing, the cinematography. I knew going in, this is going to be special, so let me just sit back and get ready. And so that's what I'm encouraging all of you to sit back and get ready, because this is something unlike anything else.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell from the trailer it's got a really distinct point of view and territory that it explores. Really fun cast. We talked about a few people. I think Travis Kelce's in this.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
That's going to be so wonderful. People just, well, can he act? That man prepared.
Professional.
Professional grade, yes. So,
Clint Eastwood style.
Clint Eastwood style. Hit some lines and say some marks, yes.
Right. Sounds simple.
But
not that simple.
No.
All right. Well, I know a lot of people are excited about this one, and they can catch it tonight. Courtney B. Vance is here. Thank you for joining us. Grotesquerie tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on FX. It's then going to stream starting Thursday on Hulu. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Trevor Alton for Linsey Davis. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. And thank you for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, tracking the path of Hurricane Helene as it barrels closer to the Florida coast. And Syrians living in Lebanon flee as Israeli strikes hit the country.
FX's Grotesquerie, tonight at 10 on FX, streaming on Hulu.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife, speaker at her church.
Everybody loved her.
She got diagnosed with cancer.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
When Amanda told me she had cancer, I was so devastated.
A beloved young Christian woman fighting a battle undeserved.
We gave our hearts, our prayers. We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
Thousands of people threw money at her.
The community raised $100,000.
What surprised me is the lengths that she went to fake the cancer. There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IV tubing.
She was accused of faking cancer. She hurt tons of people.
It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God. I was like, ha, you're lying and you're getting caught. This is over. But it wasn't, not even close.
Scamanda premieres October 9th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Did you kill Mary Yoder?
Sorry. No, I did not kill Mary Yoder.
This is a mystery. How did she die? They begin to do this autopsy.
It's just screaming
toxin, toxin, toxin.
Did somebody intentionally do this to her?
When the tests came back, I thought, yeah, holy, are you kidding me?
My garden club is very divided. People think she's innocent. I think she's guilty.
Never heard of a case like this. Maybe a thriller. I'm not buying this Little Miss Innocent game.
Little Miss Innocent. Passion, poison, prison.
I know it wasn't me. Sorry. So, if it wasn't me, who was it?
Only on Hulu.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live. ABC News Live, honored with 8 Emmy nominations, more than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis, the first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Trevor Alt in for Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us because we have a lot of news to get to this evening, including the Category 1 storm Helene hitting Cancun as it moves into the Gulf. Hurricane hunters flying into the eye. You see it there. The storm possibly making landfall in the U.S. as a Cat 3 or a Cat 4. Winds up to 125, 130 miles per hour. Plus the alarming scene on the streets of Los Angeles. Police chasing a hijacked city bus for an hour. The driver with a gun to his head, a passenger killed, and that sign on the bus flashing a call for help. And the FBI tracking threats against both candidates in the race for president. An Arizona campaign office for Vice President Kamala Harris now hit twice by gunfire, and federal authorities warning Iran is still targeting the Trump campaign. We begin tonight with Florida bracing for what could be a major Category 4 hurricane, Hurricane Helene, likely to make landfall, winds up to 130 miles an hour. And this storm is so massive that tonight there are states of emergency in Florida, Georgia, and now North Carolina. Almost every part of Florida under active alert at this hour. Helene is 465 miles south of Tampa, and it is picking up both strength and speed in the Gulf. Coastal areas could see 20-foot storm surge and torrential rain up to 18 inches, and that could stretch all the way up to the Carolinas. Hurricane hunters from the National Weather Service flying into the eye of the hurricane, its center now clearly formed. And on the ground, Helene struck Cancun, Mexico, with tropical storm force winds and flooding rain. Mandatory evacuations are in place for 20 counties in Florida. Take a look at this heavy traffic on Interstate 4 heading out of Tampa. Our Ginger Z with the timing and the track in a moment. But first, ABC's Whit Johnson leads us off in Tampa tonight.
Tonight, after hammering Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula as a tropical storm, flooding streets and taking down trees in Cancun, Helene is now a hurricane, gaining strength on a collision course with Florida. Interstate 4 packed with vehicles. Tallahassee, Florida's capital city of more than 200,000 people directly in the path. Chris Osmar among many leaving today.
I got a bad feeling about this one. Like, we've never taken that direct hit.
If our community remains central in Helene's path as forecasted, we will see unprecedented damage like nothing we have ever experienced before as a community.
You can put it back.
Our Victor Oquendo, south of Tallahassee, found John Turner packing up his waterfront restaurant, taking everything from the food to the furniture.
Being on the water, this is a different ball game, obviously, because you don't know with the storm surge what you're going to come back to, what you're going to lose.
And with the potential of 15 feet of storm surge, your restaurant...
Yeah, we may have one when we come back, we may not.
Down the coast, ambulances transferring patients out of low-lying Pasadena Hospital in St. Petersburg. And extreme measures at Tampa General Hospital, too.
This is what's called an aqua fence, a portable barrier that officials hope will help divert floodwater away from the hospital and keep the patients safe.
Helene expected to knock out power across the state. Officials say 18,000 linemen are already staged in high-risk areas, and more are on the way.
Whit Johnson tonight. Whit, thank you. And our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, is also in Florida tonight. Ginger, this looks like an extremely powerful hurricane, so time this all out for us.
You know, Trevor, I really want to emphasize, because we got a note from NOAA today, from the National Weather Service, that we don't usually see. They said that they want us to all know that this is a storm well inland. So not just Florida, but Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even eastern Tennessee. I've been emphasizing that as well, but I'm going to show you all the pictures to kind of back this up and tell you why. Let's focus on where the storm is now. It's just about 440 miles to my southwest. It's jetting north at 12 miles per hour, but it is eventually going to rocket. It's going to actually ride this upper level low and do what we call a Fujiwara effect. It's basically two cyclones that are going around each other and kind of using each other almost like a gear. When that happens, it will rocket up into the panhandle, the eastern panhandle, and Appalachia Bay as a Cat 4. Landfall tomorrow night, 130 mile per hour max sustained winds. It's moving so quick at that time, it's still a Category 1 in central Georgia as of 2 a.m. on Friday morning. So Atlanta, prepare yourself for at least tropical storm force, if not hurricane force winds. We're really worried about power outages and trees into homes and cars. So very, very bad Thursday night through early Friday. Hurricane warnings go up to Macon, Georgia, all the way down to Apalachicola, around the bend there to Cedar Key and Crystal River. Tampa Bay is still in a hurricane watch, but you've got hurricane warnings from Fort Myers and Miami right up to Charleston and even Asheville, North Carolina. So very far-reaching impacts. Let's talk about the #1 loss of life and property. That's the 10 to 20 feet of storm surge possible. So St. Mark's over to Steinhatchee, right around the bend there. Places like Crystal River could get that 10 to 20 feet. That's like 2 stories of water that gets pushed ahead the bubble of the hurricane and comes right on land. 4 to 8 feet still around Tampa Bay. That would be bad. It would, inundation could be up to 5-6 feet around there. Also wanted to point out the winds. When we were talking about the power outages going up, look at Albany at 74 mile per hour wind gusts. That's taking down trees everywhere. And they've been super saturated in this area. And so when you add what's happened today and tomorrow with this kind of stalled out front to Helene, that's where we're really worried about landslides, road closures in Asheville or Greenville, South Carolina, northeastern Georgia, extreme flood risk for 12 to even 18 inches of rain, Trevor.
About as alarming as it gets. All right, Ginger, thank you, and you and your team stay safe. Next to a very frightening story in California. Police are investigating a deadly bus hijacking in Los Angeles. A suspect held the driver and 2 passengers at gunpoint, and then police followed in pursuit. ABC's Matt Gutman is in L.A.
Tonight, this dramatic video showing that hijacked Metro bus, this slow-speed chase through the heart of Los Angeles, dozens of police cruisers in pursuit. The driver and several passengers held at gunpoint, the front of the bus seen flashing the message, emergency, 911, call police.
There's a man with a gun inside, possible hostage.
Just before 1 a.m. this morning, authorities alerted to the hijacking, but as they tried to engage, the bus rolled away and that pursuit began.
We have units in pursuit.
Officers seen throwing spike strips to puncture the bus's tires. Finally, the bus brought to a halt, SWAT teams swarming. A stun grenade deployed. The bus driver then rescued through the window.
The bus driver is unharmed. The second passenger that was found on the bus who had self-barricaded in the back of the bus, they were shaken but unharmed.
Officers finding one of the passengers on the bus suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He later died from his injuries.
Matt Gutman tonight. Matt, thank you for that report. Well, today, Vice President Kamala Harris was in the must-win state of Pennsylvania talking about the economy. Harris promised tax cuts for the middle class, help for first-time home buyers, and a major tax deduction for Americans starting small businesses. She also drilled down on her argument about the importance of manufacturing in this country and what she says really happened under Donald Trump. Meantime, we have the former president's response. Our Mary Bruce reports from Pittsburgh tonight.
Tonight in must-win Pennsylvania, Vice President Kamala Harris drilling down on the issue that could determine this race, the economy, outlining her plan to create what she calls an opportunity economy, describing her approach as pragmatic and a new way forward for the middle class.
Look, I'm a capitalist. I believe in free and fair markets. And I believe companies need to play by the rules. Respect the rights of workers and unions, and abide by fair competition.
Harris well aware that voters favor Donald Trump on the economy, though polls show she's closing the gap. Today, pitting her vision directly against his, she argued the former president is looking out for his wealthy friends, not working Americans.
You see, for Donald Trump, our economy works best if it works for those who own the big skyscrapers, not those who actually build them, not those who wire them, not those who mop the floors.
Harris pledging to cut taxes for 100 million Americans, boost small businesses by increasing the startup deduction from $5,000 to $50,000, help first-time homebuyers with down payment assistance, and invest in manufacturing, where she says the Trump administration fell far short.
All told, almost 200,000 manufacturing jobs were lost during his presidency, starting before the pandemic hit, making Trump one of the biggest losers ever on manufacturing.
Trump today saying the vice president had 4 years to help the middle class, and she didn't.
Kamala goes to work every day in the White House. Families are suffering now. So if she has a plan, she should stop grandstanding and do it. Just do it.
Our thanks to Mary Bruce for that. And also tonight, U.S. intelligence has confirmed that they've briefed Donald Trump on assassination threats coming from Iran. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, top intelligence officials warning former President Trump that he's an ongoing target for assassination by Iran. Trump given that blunt assessment during a briefing on Tuesday. Tonight, responding.
If I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens.
That briefing follows the recent arrest of a Pakistani man with alleged ties to Iran, who the FBI says was plotting to hire a hitman to kill Trump. It comes as a blistering new bipartisan Senate report on the first attempt on Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania said there was credible intelligence of a threat against the former president. Senators calling the Secret Service failures preventable.
There has to be someone in charge. There was nobody in charge.
The report says Secret Service agents were notified of a suspicious person with a rangefinder 27 minutes before the first shots, a full 7 minutes earlier than first reported. And approximately 2 minutes before the shooting, the Secret Service Command Center was told there was an individual on the roof of a nearby building, but failed to communicate that threat to Trump's security detail.
Our thanks to Pierre Thomas. Well, today here in New York City, Ukraine's President Zelensky addressed world leaders at the UN General Assembly, saying there is no alternative to complete expulsion of all Russian forces from Ukraine.
Since Russia can't defeat our people's resistance on the battlefield, Putin is looking for other ways to break the Ukrainian spirit. Now Putin does seem to be planning attacks on our nuclear power plants and the infrastructure, aiming to disconnect the plants from the power grid. With the help of satellites, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, satellites of other countries.
Well, earlier this week, Zelensky and the First Lady of Ukraine sat down with our Robin Roberts discussing what Ukraine believes is a path toward victory. You can see more from their first joint interview since the start of the war tonight at 8:30 on ABC News Live and streaming tomorrow on Hulu. Well, as part of a special investigation by the FAA into the inner workings of Boeing, the agency has revealed factory workers there felt pressure to prioritize production speed over quality. The disclosure comes as part of a 6-week-long audit after that door plug blew off a 737 MAX plane earlier this year during an Alaska Airlines flight. It was later revealed that plane had left the Boeing factory without 4 necessary bolts needed to secure that door. Well, we still have much more to get to. A celebration in Thailand marking the passing of a same-sex marriage law. Plus, social media, cryptocurrency, AI. It does feel like we might be in a bit of a tech takeover. But how does all of this technology impact our democracy? Our conversation with the author who asked that question and went looking for the answer.
Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines. From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife.
Everybody loved her.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers. We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God!
Scamanda premieres October 9th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
I love this version of me.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views,
That's what we're about.
voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what?
The View.
I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
Reporting from the 2024 Democratic Convention in Chicago, I'm Jay O'Brien. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
We're tracking several headlines around the world. Hundreds of Syrian citizens living in Lebanon are returning to Syria as Israeli strikes hit various areas of Lebanon. They're targeting what Israel says are sites linked to the terror group Hezbollah. Tens of thousands of Syrian and Lebanese people living in that area have left their homes. Fishermen are struggling to move boats around in a lake in the Brazilian Amazon as a severe drought hits the tropical rainforest for a second consecutive year. Residents say it's getting harder to use canoes even, which are the main source of transport. The back-to-back droughts have fueled extensive wildfires and stranded river communities. And people gathered in central Bangkok to celebrate the passage of Thailand's same-sex marriage law. It's now the first country in Southeast Asia to recognize the marriages of same-sex couples. The bill will go into effect in January of next year. Well, some experts claim we're currently living in a tech takeover with social media, artificial intelligence, and cryptocurrency all increasingly prevalent. How does tech impact our daily lives and, furthermore, our democracy? Well, a former member of the European Parliament and International Policy Director at the Cyber Policy Center, Maricha Shaka, is out with a new book. It's called The Tech Coup, How to Save Democracy from Silicon Valley. Maricha, thanks so much for being here today.
Great to be here.
So I think everyone is aware about tech in their daily lives or how it might impact the information that they learn. Okay, I get my news from Facebook or YouTube. Democracy is this big, grand thing. So how exactly does big tech directly influence democracy at large?
Right. So you mentioned social media, but there's also more invisible places in our societies, in our world, where tech companies play an increasingly powerful role in building infrastructure, securing infrastructure, taking key decisions about war and peace, about election outcomes, about whether we can trust information or not, whether people get discriminated against or not. So they're really companies sitting at critical points in our society, and that is beginning to hurt democracy because the democratically elected and accountable leaders are no longer calling the shots.
And one thing that you make a large note of is the fact that a lot of these decisions made by big tech companies have been made with not a lot of regulation behind them, that they've kind of been unchecked, and those decisions then have a massive impact. I mean, how big of a role is that lack of regulation?
Oh, it's a big role because these companies are basically taking the space that they've been given. Leaders from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party in the United States have trusted that just leaving these companies to their own devices would lead to the best results. And we now see that that's not true, that there are real harms for real people, and we need to stop that.
I know that beyond your background in government, serving in European Parliament, you talk to a lot of different people for the book, human rights activists, people that work in Silicon Valley, policymakers as well. What were some of those big takeaways or anything that surprised you from these conversations?
Well, just where in many, many different places this plays a role. We see parents that are very worried about their kids, spending too much time online and not knowing what's really happening there. But it also plays a role in questions of human rights defense. You know, activists around the world that are trying to fight the powers that be, but that are subject to being hacked, for example, with commercial spyware. Their phones being taken over, their pictures being taken out, their context being read. And so it's close to home, far away from home, but systematically a problem for human rights, democracy, when it comes to the growing role that tech companies now play, who are, of course, in it for the profit. We shouldn't be surprised about that, but society needs something different. The public interest needs careful balancing between different interests, and we just see that those interests between what Silicon Valley needs and what we as people need are clashing.
How do we keep that in check?
Well, there's elections in this country in November, so hopefully there will be room for a more ambitious policy agenda when it comes to reining in the outsized power of tech companies. But it's also about investments and about governments that are huge purchasers of software, using that as leverage towards greater transparency, greater cybersecurity, more public values that can be baked into the contracts that they already have for hundreds of millions of dollars.
What about on a small scale individual level, the parents that are concerned about their children? Is there anything that they can do on a daily basis to maybe keep big tech at an arm's length, or at least to regulate it in their own lives?
Sure, they can remove the mobile phones from the hands of their children, or create more settings that are privacy friendly and that really allow for the choices that you can make to refrain from all the data being scooped up, for example, or prevent the targeting of very young children with ads. That's something that people have in their own hands. But ultimately, us as individual internet users are just not powerful enough to stand up to these multi-billion-dollar companies. We need larger scale interventions through policy, different investments, and different kind of procurement by the government.
Right. Those large scale changes, and in the interim, invoke the democracy of your own house with your own children.
That's right.
In deciding to make those changes. The book is called The Tech Coup: How to Save Democracy from Silicon Valley. Marietje Schaake, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
You can find that book and purchase it wherever books are sold. And still to come here on ABC News Live Prime, we're going to say bye, bye, bye to summer and gear up for Halloween. Our conversation with boy band legend and first-time children's book author Lance Bass about his new book, Trick or Treat on Scary Street. We'll be right back.
Evil has always existed.
To understand this killer, you must reach the ecstatic.
FX's Grotesquerie, tonight at 10 on FX. Stream on Hulu.
She had this captivating smile and these beautiful eyes, and I prayed that they would find her alive.
Her car was found abandoned.
You find keys in this car that don't seem to belong to her.
That was just the beginning.
Oh my God.
A local woman who says she sometimes has visions.
I could see blood.
I get goosebumps. This case touched you like no other had. Why?
Because I know how much black girls don't matter.
All new 2020 Friday night on ABC.
Betrayal is one of the hardest types of trauma to overcome.
This is her knight in shining armor.
Everything felt right. All of a sudden, I found this hidden folder. I opened it. I don't think I can say it. I'm sorry. It's shocking. My stomach just dropped. He just really didn't think I had it in me to do something. So I did.
Betrayal, A Father's Secret, the all-new season on Hulu.
Haunted. Can we have a little fun?
It's showtime.
Everything has led to this moment.
Now we have everything we need.
No, not everything.
Haunted.
Get a free demon possession with every exorcism.
That's right, Lydia.
Marvelous.
31
Nights of Halloween. Watch all October on Freeform.
ABC News Live, honored with 8 Emmy nominations, more than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis, the first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. This is ABC News Live.
All right, our next guest rose to fame as a pop star in one of the most popular boy bands of all time, NSYNC. He is now a podcaster and a first-time children's book author. Just as we enter into spooky season, Lance Bass's new book is out. It's called Trick or Treat on Scary Street, taking readers through a spooky adventure full of surprises. Lance Bass, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Are you already locked into fall?
Oh, I am. I've been locked into fall. Since this book has been coming out, I've had it, in my house for 5 months now. So we have been in spooky season for a long time.
Ready to go. So, so it's never too early to start celebrating Halloween?
Never, never. I mean, we love Halloween and Christmas, but for some reason, my kids just stick with Halloween year-round.
Yeah, and are you a big Halloween fan,
I am. Huge. Since I was a kid, my grandfather, my dad, they loved Halloween, and especially the scary Halloween. So as a kid, I grew up just with like the gory stuff. And I wanted to give that to my kids too. So they grew up with Jason and Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger, and it means nothing to them. They laugh at it.
We were talking, this is a couple years in the making to get this book
several years
together. What does it mean to finally see it in print?
It's amazing. It's like one of my children. I've had this idea for many years, but it wasn't until I had my kids that I knew I needed to make this a reality. And it took us, 3 years to make this, come to life.
Right.
But just to see it in print it's just a beautiful thing, and I cannot wait for the next one.
You talked about your own kids, twins.
Yes.
Turning 3 in a couple weeks, I think.
Yes, October 13th.
Are they fans of the book?
Huge fans. And they were great, to test this out on, because they were, just 2. I'm like, is this too young? Are they too young for this? And so we read it, and they were obsessed with it from night one. So I've been having to read this to them probably 6 times a night since February.
That's it. You got a hit on your hands.
I think so.
What's the process of developing, the theme, and this is so I'm going to open this up just so people can see kind of how
the illustrations
elaborate. Illustrations are amazing and they're really detailed. What's the process of nailing all of that down?
Yeah, well, I mean, one, I've had the story, so I knew, I loved trick-or-treating as a kid. I grew up in Mississippi, and it was just so fun to get lost in the neighborhood with your friends, and it felt safe. And I was always intrigued with, well, what if there was a secret street that no one knew about, that it just appeared on Halloween night? And it's that kind of Goonies adventure, and that's what I wanted to create with that. And I got with an amazing illustrator, and it gave me that kind of where the wild things are vibe.
Yeah.
It was just the perfect combination for my first book.
And the colors are really fun, really cool.
Fun.
They pop a lot.
It's not a creepy book, but the colors and everything make it seem creepy.
Right. Yes. The mood of all of it. A hit from your first career.
Yeah.
Are there similarities between a hit song and a children's book, and what makes them work?
You know what? I don't think there's a formula for it. You never know what is going to be a hit. There are so many songs that I've recorded. I'm like, this is the best song we've ever done. This is going to be huge, and it goes nowhere. And then there's songs you put out that you're like, I hate this song. There's no way people are going to like this, and it's the biggest hit ever.
Right.
So you just have no idea. It's just really the moment in time that things come out.
Right. And sometimes you get something that the kids want to hear 6 times over and over again.
So I mean, I think we've hit it with this one.
While we have you, Lance, there was some chatter in the makeup room beforehand, some excitement about a potential NSYNC reunion, if it's in the works at all. Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, there's nothing I can really say right now because I don't even know what's happening. But yes, there's definitely some discussions about what we could possibly do in the future with Deadpool and the Trolls movie kind of reigniting our fan base and bringing our fan base to the Gen Z crowd.
Right.
It has been amazing, and it's inspired us to figure out, okay, what can we do?
Fantastic. Well, you can write a children's book, that's for sure. Lance, thanks so much for being here. You can get a copy of Trick or Treat on Scary Street wherever books are sold. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Trevor Alton for Linsey Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Disney+, on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, and the ABC News app, and of course on abcnews.com. Have a great night.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife, speaker at her church.
Everybody loved her.
She got diagnosed